What if I told you this whole time you've been doing push-ups wrong? Most people think they know how to do a push-up, but they're actually doing it wrong. And there's two main problems that I see reoccurring often. This is a standard push-up that you've likely seen around. You might even be doing it yourself. And it looks good for the most part, right? My back is straight, I'm going down, my body's aligned, it looks good, right? No, there's actually two main issues that really pop out. The first one is shoulder and elbow misalignment. So if you take a look at this push-up, you'll see that my elbows are flared out at about 90 degrees away from my body. Now this is bad because it puts your shoulder in a bad position, which will lead to a lot of stress, strain, and over time, eventually injury. Another reason this is bad is because it shifts some of the focus away from your chest and onto your front deltoid. You don't want to do that because you want to keep as much of the emphasis on your chest as possible. A simple fix for this is just to shift your elbows closer towards your body at about 45 degrees. So instead of keeping them out at 90 degrees, just shift them in till they're about 45. Now what this does is it puts your shoulder in a much better position and it'll activate your chest much better. The second mistake that I see reoccurring often is restricted range of motion. Now this is probably the biggest one. So if you look at this push-up again, you'll see that I'm going down, but not all the way down. And that's a huge problem. A lot of people think that you only need to stop at 90 degrees. Stopping at 90 degrees makes absolutely no sense. The function of your chest muscles is essentially to bring your arm out and in. When you bring it in, the muscle fibers shorten, and when you bring it out, it lengthens. So if you've ever seen a chest fly or pec deck machine, that's essentially what it does. So a push-up essentially mimics this because when you're at the top, your muscle fibers are shortened, and when you start to come down, it starts to lengthen. Now if you stop at 90 degrees, it's not lengthening fully. It's about halfway. So if you go all the way down, it'll lengthen a lot more, which will lead to a better stretch. To maximize muscle growth, you want to stretch out your muscle as far as possible on both ends of the spectrum. So start at the top where it's the shortest and then go all the way down. Now, if you have pirouettes or some sort of elevated surface where you can place your hands, you can also use those to go a little bit more deeper and get a better contraction. But if you're just on the floor, just make sure you're going all the way down until your chest hits the floor. A misconception that I see often is this notion of going nose to the floor. Do not use this cue, it's horrible. Having this notion of going nose to the floor is horrible for two reasons. One, you're still not doing the push-up correctly because if you just go till your nose goes to the floor, a lot of people what they do is they'll still go about 90 degrees and then they'll just extend their neck out and then try to reach the floor with their nose. So you're not doing the push-up correctly. And the second reason is that it'll strain your neck and that'll lead to injury and a lot of unnecessary pain as well. Do not use the cue of nose to the floor. Now if you've been doing these two mistakes, I've got some progressions for you so you can work your way up to doing full push-up. The first progression is incline push-ups. Incline push-ups are great for any fitness level because you can start with the height that is most comfortable for you. Start with the railing, just make sure you're doing the full range of motion, practicing your form, perfecting it, and then once you're able to do about 10 to 15, maybe 20 clean reps, you can move on. Next, you can decrease the height, find a chair, find a bench, and work on your progression here. Once you're able to do a couple more clean reps, slowly decrease the height until you get to the floor. Another progression you can try is assisted push-ups. Now a lot of people think assisted push-ups are really easy and they don't do them properly. So when you're doing assisted push-ups, make sure that your body's aligned, your back is straight, and you're going all the way down. Bonus tip you can try is push-up negatives. A push-up negative is essentially where you start at the top of the exercise and you slowly let yourself down in a controlled fashion. Once you get to the bottom, since you won't have the strength to push yourself back up, use your knees, whatever you need to get back to the top, and then slowly let yourself go back to the bottom, okay? Working on the eccentric portion of any exercise will help you develop the strength to do the full exercise. Work on these progressions, and sooner or later, you'll be able to do a full push-up properly.